Gelby, does Alabama belong in the college football playoffs with 3 losses over the University of Miami, which had 2 losses?
Yes, I'm not irate about this. I predicted
this is
how
ridiculous, and we're done with Gelb for the day. We appreciate you joining us, Gelby.
Trust me, I'm not getting Fred Taylor money for this segment, so if I don't have to do this for 20 minutes, I'm good. You can hang up on me. I'll go enjoy the rest of my day.
Don't tempt me. Go ahead, because I had seen your prediction, which was right on, by the way.
But it was spot on. I got all 12 teams right with the matchups, and I've been pretty much doing that for all these rankings. But here's the thing. It never even crossed my mind about when Miami lost to Syracuse that Miami was going to have a case to get in. It was which one of those 3 SEC teams between Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina was going to rise to the top. But I kind of find this whole conversation to be funny, because there's a good chance, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a chance Clemson wins this weekend, and then Clemson and SMU should both go, and then it's like, okay, this whole fight about Alabama and Miami that we're going to have for these next few days is going to be irrelevant. So to me, if SMU loses in the ACC championship game, then yes, they should still get in. But hey, protect the 21-0 lead if you're Miami. You had controlled your own destiny and you blew it. So I don't really think there's a leg to stand on why they should be furious today.
And Gelby, doing your rankings, like that dude came out, the little heavy dude sitting in the dark room talking about strength of schedule and
Ward Manuel, the AD at Michigan.
Games against opponents that have winning schedules, and he's laying out all the stats. Like, is Miami one of the top 12 football teams in the nation or not? That's what I think it should come down to.
And, well, if you're saying if you took, like, the Big 12 champion out of it?
If you did, like, all the stuff, because this college football playoff thing is new. And, then, you know what I'm saying? ASU, like, I believe Miami could beat Arizona State University. Like,
I don't know. Their offense could put up a lot of points, especially with their running back Cam. And the quarterback's good, too, in Levitt.
Let me know if I'm wrong. Like, I think Miami, which I don't think they're a national championship team, but I think with Cam Ward at the helm, Miami is one of the best 12 teams in the nation. And just tell me I'm wrong, and I'll eat it.
No, you have a case to be made. If you want to say they're anywhere from 10 to 12, okay. I'm not going to sit here and be irate about it, but that's been my point about this. If they would have just taken care of business with a 21-0 lead up against Syracuse, this isn't even a conversation. And for me, is a 3-loss regular season SEC team, do they have a better resume than a 2-loss ACC team? I think so. Like, you look at Alabama, I know you could say, oh, well, Miami beat the snot out of Florida. Sorry, Crowder, to bring that back up. And that's an SEC team, but Alabama's best win is Georgia. What's Miami's best win? Louisville?
Yeah.
I mean, Syracuse is a good team, though. Here's the thing. Here's what I get caught on.
I thought Syracuse was going to win the game outright. I picked them.
Right. So here, that's what I get caught on, though, is like they had a couple losses. We do so much context now surrounding, it seems to me, like the Hurricanes' wins and losses. There's so much context. Well, who was their best win? What was their worst loss? Listen, there's 3 really good conferences. Wouldn't you agree? Big Ten, ACC, SEC.
There's 2. There is a separation. It's the Big Ten and the SEC. Those are the 2 big dogs that in most years are going to get 4 teams in the college football playoff. And look, all this chaos.
I wonder if, to kind of Crowder's point, maybe you do away with the guaranteed slot for the Big 12 champion winner if they're not one of the 12 best teams in the nation, which according to the rankings, they're not right now.
Fair. And I've said this, the conference champion should not get an automatic bye. I know it's 5 that end up getting in, but the fact that 4 get automatic buys hasn't made sense to me. But let's not pretend that the ACC is always that much better than the Big 12. I know the Big 12 has been reshaped with Oklahoma and Texas
Miami,
leaving.
FSU, Clemson.
BYU had a lot of BYU was good, and you had Arizona State was good. Iowa State's good. Like, these teams are good, and they beat up on one another.
I don't know. I have a difficult time swallowing this.
Did you just drop a Florida State? Because
I'm saying historically. I'm not talking about this season. I'm saying historically as a conference, I think the ACC is up there, especially if you're, again, if you're including Clemson over the last 10 years or so. You know what I mean? Like, if you're just looking historically at the conferences, to me, SEC, ACC, Big Ten, and then it's spread out underneath, in my opinion. But that's probably because I'm an ACC fan. I mean, I have a tough time swallowing what transpired yesterday because, in my opinion, the University of Miami, they had incredible wins this season. So if you want to look at the Cal win and say, well, you got lucky at the end, I look at it as a
They still won the game.
I look at it as a positive. Like, hey, you went out on the road and you beat a Cal team, maybe in a game that you shouldn't have beat them. Like, I look at everything that transpired in the season as a positive. You had a top 10 team most of the season. The 2 games you lost were by a combined less than 10 points. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Mario Cristobal all of a sudden, who I'm very angry with after the Syracuse game. But
him and the defense.
I'm parroting what he said. You had a Heisman caliber quarterback. You had a record-setting wide receiver. It just doesn't add up to me that you can't be in the top 12 because an Alabama team with 3 losses, one on the Vanderbilt, correct? Am I right there?
Yeah. Yep. Nope. And Diego Pavia's had a good season. Clark Lee's had a good season, but no one thought they were going to lose to Vanderbilt.
So Miami can't be in the expanded playoffs. And this is historical, right? Because Alabama historically has been a football powerhouse. It has nothing else. If their name was, I don't know, St. Thomas, they would not be in the playoffs over Miami. Same resume, same.
But here's the thing, and I know that they were ranked right behind Alabama. I still would have thought if, let's say, Alabama's lost the Iron Bowl, I still would have thought that Ole Miss or South Carolina would have been in
your mind, though. So it's almost a blanket rule. If you're a 3-loss SEC team, it will trump a 2-loss ACC team 100% of the time
in the regular season. Like if SMU loses their conference championship game to Clemson, I don't care by how many points. I will be irate next week if SMU is out of the college football playoff if they lose to Clemson. Let me be regular season wise, because I think a 3-loss SEC team is better than a 2-loss ACC.
And if that's the parameters, like then I would understand. Like if that was the parameters going in, if they say 3-loss SEC,
but there's no criteria,
are always going to take precedent over 2-loss ACC teams. At least you'd know it going in. But again,
it's ambiguous.
I'm no FSU fan. I thought FSU got screwed last year,
which is fair. And if they didn't lose their quarterback, they would have absolutely got in. I can't argue on the Florida State one, but once again, they went from 4 to 12. So to sit here and bitch and complain about who should be 10, 11, 12. This has been as open of a season in college football. I never thought a 3-loss team would get in. You know, I thought even if you were a 2-loss team, you could have a chance of getting out. But there's not. I don't even know if we have a great team this year in college football. I know Oregon's undefeated. They're very, very, very good. But this has been so open. And once again, all Miami had to do was protect a 21-0 lead, and this isn't even a conversation. And they couldn't do that.
Hey, Gelby, we're talking about 11 and 12. I want to go a little higher up the ranks. Who is that dog? You bring up Oregon. I honestly like Penn State. Ohio State, I know they lost to Michigan.
You like Penn State? Penn State can't. Franklin can't coach himself out of a paper bag in a big game.
Their damn defense is monsters, though.
Abdul Carter's good.
Notre Dame has a hell of a defensive secondary. Like I think it's going to be lower scoring games. But who do you think? Is it Ohio State still, even though losing to Michigan, or is it Oregon?
I want to say it's Oregon, and I've been out on Carson Beck for 2 months. I would not use a first-round pick on him. And I know Georgia almost lost to Georgia Tech. And if Dan Jackson didn't make that play, they would have lost. And Haynes King was sensational. And I know before people start tweeting me, that was an SEC and an ACC game. I get it. But until someone takes down Georgia in the playoff with how open this has been, Georgia kind of feels like Kansas City to me, the Chiefs this year in the NFL. They're vulnerable, but until someone takes them out when it matters, I'm still going to think they're going to be there at the end of the day.
Crazy, all the context that goes.
Tennessee, though,
this is just annoying me. This is all, they should at the end of the game, after the final score, we should all have a conversation about who really won the game. I mean, Miami had a better record. That's how we determine everything in every sport and anything. You have the better record, you're a better team. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you're not playing the same strength of schedule. This is not apples to apples here.
Sorry. Listen, let's play the same schedules then. I mean, I don't know. What
if Alabama, and trust me, Alabama's had flaws this year. Like, I'm not bitching if Alabama got left out. Milroe is one of the most inconsistent players in the country. When he's on, he's unbelievable. When he's off, he's terrible.
Who would you rather see in the playoffs, Milroe or Cam Ward?
Who would I rather, if I'm a defense, rather go up against?
No. Who would you rather see as a viewer?
I would rather see Cam Ward, yeah. But
I mean,
that's
I
player.
gotta walk off my own show.
That's one player.
Off my own show.
Like I would like to see Xavier Restrepo too. Outside of that, I don't want to see anybody else on Miami.
I mean, what are we doing then? I gotta walk off this show.
Okay, let me ask you this. Alabama plays at Miami this year. What's the final score?
Alabama by 70.
I'm walking off the show. No, I've listened to this stuff all morning. I was sitting in the room. I had nothing to do. You bring up Cal and VTech, those tough wins. It doesn't like they fought back. It says they barely beat. I don't know if it's UN bias or not, but the strength of schedule is
isn't
a
that
big
the thing? Is like that's the whole thing is like, oh, they barely beat. Well, why not say they fought back and at the very end, like give it that context?
Okay, so Hawk, by your argument then, and I think Boise State is a heck of a team. They should have beat Oregon. If Boise State loses this weekend, they're out. You should then be advocating for Ashton Genty and Spencer Danielson to make the college football playoff, right?
Well, at whose expense?
Yeah, if it's just off the win-loss record, that would only be their second loss of the season. So shouldn't they be in then?
Sure, why not? Take Alabama out. Alabama has 3 losses.
Huck wants to take it to 18 already.
I almost would understand. They should. They should definitely understand it.
Stop.
This 12 is not enough.
Stop.
I think we can all agree.
Yeah.
12 is not enough.